Welcome to Hardwood Handicappers with Zach Cohen, right here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Zachary Cohen, VSiN.com senior editor with another episode of Hardwood Handicappers. Today is Friday, January 23rd. It is 10:15 a.m. Eastern, and we have a lot to get into for tonight. It is a loaded Friday card, so we're going to get right into the picks. I have two sides for tonight, one traditional spread, one parlay. I have a lot of confidence in both of those plays. They are bigger plays for me. Then I also have three player props. So let's start right away with the Rockets at the Pistons, 7 p.m. Eastern. This game is on Prime Video, and the play that I have for this game is Isaiah Stewart over 12.5 points and rebounds at minus 115. He has had 13 plus points and rebounds in 3 straight games, plus 5 of his last 6. He's also averaging 15.8 points and rebounds when playing at home this season, and he's gone over this mark in 15 of the 19 home games that he has played. And the reason that I really kind of targeted this play specifically is that Houston is number 1 in the league in offensive rebound rate this season, 40.6%. I think that the Pistons are going to need a little bit of extra beef inside, so why not turn to beef stew for a little bit more minutes in this game? I think that he's going to help them out quite a bit, trying to keep that Houston team off the glass. Then on the offensive end, he can finish plays at the rim. He can knock down some threes. He's, a pretty productive scorer. I think he's going to have a pretty big game tonight. The next game is Suns at Hawks at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and this is a really interesting game. As you know, I'm a Suns fan, so I know a little bit more about this one than I probably should, but the Suns have not won in Atlanta since March 24th, 2014, which I believe I saw at the time. Suns head coach Jordan Ott was a video coordinator for Mike Budenholzer, who was the Hawks coach at the time. Most recently, the Suns head coach that got fired. So kind of crazy story there. Damari Carroll, an assistant coach for the Suns right now, was on the Hawks at that time and scored 19 points in that game. And Devin Booker was in high school. So there has been a lot of time since Phoenix last won in Atlanta. And I think there's going to be a crazy amount of motivation for the Suns coming into this game. And the Suns are also coming off of 2 full days of rest. So they're going to be well rested coming into this one. So I have the Suns money line at minus 137, and I have this to win 1.5 units. It's a bigger play for me. Since December 1st, there's just a big gap between these two teams. Phoenix, in points per 100 possessions, like a net rating, efficiency differential that you'll get at cleaning the glass, non-garbage time minutes, plus 2.8, 10th in the league. In that same span, the Hawks are minus 5.0 per 100, 25th in the NBA. And then if you kind of break things down a little bit more recently, since January 1st, the Suns are plus 6.5 and 6th in the NBA. The Hawks are minus 3.4 and 20th in the league. I just think that this is an Atlanta team that their strength is their defense. Since January 1st, they're the 10th best defense in the league when looking at points allowed per 100 possessions. But Phoenix is better defensively. They're number 4 in the league in that same span at 109.5 points allowed per 100. And the Suns are a top 10 offensive team. Just got Jaylon Green back, so they're only going to be more explosive. So I think that getting the better team with motivation, with rest, I feel really good about Phoenix winning, especially with the Suns being completely healthy. Nobody on the injury report for tonight except for Jordan Goodwin listed as available, so he'll be playing. The Hawks are going to be without Kristaps Porzingis and Zachary Cohen for another couple of games. So I think this is a great spot to take the Suns. Back to the player props market we go with the Kings at the Cavaliers, 7:30 p.m. Eastern tip. This is a game where I'm going back to Jalen Tyson over 15.5 points. I know that I've been taking this a lot lately, but the reason for that is that Darius Garland and Sam Merrill are out. And even when Tyson kind of struggles with his shot, it's still a matter of getting shots up and having increased volume. And he has absolutely had that over the last couple of games. And I think, you look at his stats without those two guys, still averaging 21.1 points per game without that duo. And there have been some big games along the way. I think he's going to have a strong performance tonight. This Kings team is decent against spot-up shooters, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to do so against tonight and stay out on the shooters, because I do think that this is a bad defensive team and an unorganized defensive team it's going to be hard for them to kind of defend Donovan Mitchell and the bigs on the Cleveland team. So I think there's going to be some extra attention sent that way. And I think they're going to have to kind of overplay, and that will, kind of benefit a guy like Tyson, who isn't really the number one option on a scouting report. He's going to have some good looks from behind the three-point line, but I also think he's going to have a lot of success kind of attacking the basket, because this Sacramento team is the worst team in the entire NBA defending inside 10 feet, number 30 of 30, and Jaylon Tyson scores 41% of his points from inside 10 feet. He loves getting to his floater. He's not the greatest ball handler in the world, but he can get himself to the basket. And when he does, he likes to get to that floater. And I think he's going to have some good opportunities to score around the rim in this game. So I really think Tyson scores 16 plus tonight. I actually think he's going to actually flirt with 20 plus. I just don't really want to be as aggressive with it as I have been over the last couple of games, because he has been a little bit colder with the jumper. We're getting ready for Big Game 60 with a big deal to match. Save $60 off a VSiN Pro annual subscription when you sign up using promo code Hardwood, all one word. Become a VSiN Pro annual subscriber. Bet smarter all year long with full access to our daily best bets from VSiN hosts and guests, real-time DraftKings and Circa betting splits, AI-powered prop tools and matchup analysis, 24/7 video and full show replays from the VSiN Watch app, then all of our betting guides and expert picks for the Super Bowl and upcoming March Madness. Don't miss out on this big game deal. Visit vsin.com/subscribe and use promo code Hardwood to save $60 off a VSiN Pro annual subscription today. That's vsin.com/subscribe. And then Hardwood, HARDWOOD. This is a great time to become a VSiN Pro. As I've mentioned, all of the NBA stuff, all of the stuff for all of our sports, but then, some of my tennis work, which I'm working very hard on right now with the Australian Open. So I really strongly suggest you check that out. Let's move on now to the Pelicans at the Grizzlies. This game tips at 8 p.m. Eastern, and this is a game where the loaded injury report for Memphis just kind of screams Cam Spencer game. So I'm going Cam Spencer over 8.5 assists at plus 105. And the big injury there that's kind of, making me take this play is no Ja Morant. In the last 10 games that, Spencer has played without Ja Morant, he is averaging 9.5 assists per game on 13.8 potential assists. So doing a really good job of just kind of finding teammates, even when they're not making shots. He's at least setting them up for opportunities. And he's also had 11 plus assists in the last 3 games he's played without Ja. And all of those games were played with Vince Williams, who comes off the bench or starts and gives them some good minutes at the point guard position. But it just kind of shows you that even with another guy that Tomas Isolo trusts at the point guard spot, Spencer is still capable of getting his assists. And I absolutely love this matchup for him, because this Pelicans defense that he is going against is 29th in the NBA defending the rim and transition, also 27th in the league guarding catch and shoot jumpers. I just think that there's going to be a ton of good looks to go around for Memphis, a ton of easy looks, and it's Spencer that is kind of tasked with finding those guys. So I think that he's going to flirt with 10 plus assists in this game. Do I wish this was down at 7.5 for an 8 plus to be a win? Yes, but I do like the plus money odds on him to go 9 plus. I think he's going to do it tonight. The next 2 games that I want to talk about, and I'm lumping them together because I mentioned before I have a parlay. Nuggets at Bucks at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Raptors at Blazers at 10 p.m. Eastern. And the play that I have in this game is a parlay of the Bucks on the money line against the Nuggets and the Raptors on an alternate spread of plus 7.5 against the Blazers. This is available at minus 128 at DraftKings Sportsbook. I am playing it to win 1.5 units. Hopefully by the time this is released, it's still available at that number, but I would have taken this at anything up to like minus 135 and potentially minus like 138, minus 140. So I do think this is a play you'll be able to jump on with me. And the reason that I like the Bucks in that first game against the Nuggets is really because this is a 3rd game in 4 nights for Denver. It's also a back-to-back. Milwaukee was off last night. I just kind of think this is a game where we're going to see some players sitting for the Nuggets. I mean, this is a team that's really banged up right now. They are trying to kind of stay healthy for the return of Nikola Jokic, which is coming kind of right just around the corner. And I do think this is a game where the Bucks should bounce back and get in the win column. I know it's really hard to trust this Milwaukee team right now, but if Denver is without the Joker and missing several other starters in a road game, I would really expect a well-rested Bucks team to get back in the win column here. This is still a team that, as long as Giannis is around and he has not yet requested a trade, they are trying to get a play-in spot. They have every incentive to win. And I do think this is a game where the Nuggets are going to kind of take their foot off the gas And I think they're going to kind of look ahead to this weekend and try to stay as healthy as possible. So I think you're going to see a crowded injury report. Maybe I'm wrong. It happens. You can be wrong trying to guess who's going to be in and out. That's just the nature of the NBA right now. But I think the Bucks to win tonight, great money line parlay anchor. I think that they're going to get in the win column again. And then the second game, the Raptors alternate plus 7.5 against the Blazers. It's just an interesting matchup. Like, this is a third game in 4 nights for Toronto. That might seem like a bad rest spot, but at the same time, it's the second leg of a back-to-back for Portland. So I think that kind of evens things out and might even kind of favor the Raptors, because I think you could see some players out for the Blazers tonight, like a Drew Holiday, who is coming off a serious calf injury. They might not want to risk him taking a long-term injury. And for as good as Portland has been since January 1st, they're 8-2 with a plus 5.7 efficiency differential. Toronto has been, right there with them in that same span, 7-4 with a plus 3.5 in that span. And I do think that, like, you can kind of look at the entire, course of the season, and you see that the Raptors have been a better team. So I think that evens out a little as well. And I just kind of like overall the wings that the Raptors have to defend Denny Avdia. I think that they're going to be in pretty good shape defensively there. I mean, Scotty Barnes is probably going to handle that assignment, and Barnes has been a menace defensively this season. So I think that Avdia has kind of dominated every wing he's gone up against this season, gotten them, to put him on the free throw line and everything. But I do think that Barnes can kind of handle that assignment. So I like the Raptors, to win this game, to be honest, but to keep it close, definitely. So I think plus 7.5 on an alternate spread makes this a really interesting 2-leg parlay. Attention any listeners who are new to VSiN, signing up for our free daily newsletter is a great way to catch up. Delivered straight to your inbox every morning, VSiN's newsletter offers picks, data, and strategies for the day's betting menu. Sign up for free now at vsin.com/newsletter and start receiving your free newsletter tomorrow morning. That's vsin.com/newsletter. Stay ahead of the game and bet smarter with VSiN. All right, well, let's recap the best bets that I gave you. And then I want to kind of talk a little bit about some big picture stuff. So if you stuck around for now, you'll get a little bit of my thoughts from last night and kind of some long-term things that I think, especially about the Warriors and the Lakers. But for tonight, for the Friday card, Isaiah Stewart over 12.5 points and rebounds at minus 115. Suns money line at minus 137. I'm playing that to win 1.5 units. Jaylon Tyson over 15.5 points at plus 100. Cam Spencer over 8.5 assists at plus 105. And then a parlay with the Bucks money line against the Nuggets. Raptors alternate plus 7.5 versus the Blazers. That's minus 128. I'm playing it to win 1.5 units. It's those 5 picks for me. You didn't get anything from me on the Celtics Nets or, the NBA Finals rematch between the Pacers Thunder. I just don't really have much in those games. I do have a lean on the Nets plus 8.5, just because I do kind of like the way that Brooklyn defends. And I think that playing in Brooklyn gives them a nice little boost offensively. So I think they can keep that game close potentially. But the other game, it's a 15.5 point spread for OKC against a depleted Indiana team. I would expect the Thunder to kind of roll in that game, but I never really like laying 15.5. It's tough to kind of expect a team to win by 16 plus points in this league, especially, when the other team is a little bit feisty. But as far as last night goes, the two kind of themes that I've noticed are, I think we could really start fading, the Warriors and the Lakers moving forward. It's really tough to say, because I thought the Warriors were going to be really good this season. I went over on their regular season win total, but a loss like that in Dallas to the Mavericks, where it really wasn't even competitive, just kind of shows you where they are with Jimmy Butler out for the rest of the season with that torn ACL. This team does not have enough shot creation. Like, Brandon Pajemski went 4 for 13 from the floor, 0 for 4 from 3. Like, his life becomes a lot harder when he's kind of the number 2 shot creator on this team. They also lost Jonathan Kuminga to a sprained ankle. Given what's going on with the trade scenario with him, I wouldn't expect to see him back anytime soon. I know you can make an argument that maybe he'll want to get back out there and play because he'll want to kind of, boost his trade stock or whatever. But at the same time, he might not want to get hurt because he wants to another team to be comfortable enough to trade for him while he's, healthy. So I'm not sure we'll see him back anytime soon. And there's just way too much on Steph Curry's plate right now. So I really think this is a team that's going to start to fizzle out down the stretch. And, for the teams on the outside looking in for the play-in, I think there's a chance that they actually pass the Warriors. I really wouldn't be surprised at all. And then the Lakers, Man, that defense is just absolutely awful. Like, it's not even just like a structure thing, it's an effort thing. Like DeAndre Ayton, the way that he was competing last night, it was embarrassing. Like, he just was not going whatsoever. Allowed Zubats to completely dominate the boards. 10 offensive rebounds for Zoo in that game. And, you didn't even really need a strong performance from the Clippers offensively, but, the Clippers are healthy now. I expected them to win that game. I ended up taking the Clippers on an alternate spread in a parlay. So hopefully, if you're a VSiN Pro subscriber, you headed over to the website, before tips and saw what I had there. But man, I'm really low on the Lakers right now. That's why I added to my Suns position to win the Pacific Division. I just don't trust Los Angeles to figure this out. I don't trust Golden State, and the Clippers, I think, are either the best or the second best team in the Pacific right now. I just think they've dug too deep of a hole. So I really think it's going to be Phoenix that ends up finishing atop the division as long as they can stay healthy. So hopefully they do stay healthy. But yeah, those are the big takeaways for me. It's the Lakers and the Warriors being two teams that I'm looking to fade the rest of the season. Other than that, not too much. Like, it is trade season right now. We're getting a lot of buzz, from some of the league's insiders at the moment. Apparently, Anthony Davis requested a trade. Well, not Anthony Davis, Rich Paul, his agent, the clutch man himself. Apparently, he's trying to force AD's way out of Dallas. I'm interested in seeing what that market looks like because it is a unique situation where Davis is injured right now. So it's going to have to be a playoff team that's willing to wait for him. And you're going to have to be really confident that you're getting him back in decent enough shape to help you contribute in the postseason. For a while, it was rumored to be the Hawks that were hot for him. I'm not sure that makes a lot of sense anymore because I'm really down on this Hawks team. I think they look awful. I know that I was kind of saying that before they traded Trae Young. I thought that they were, overrated when he was out of the lineup, but I'm not sure that they're an Anthony Davis away from being an Eastern Conference contender, even if Porzingis and Ricochet come back and stay back. Porzingis staying on the floor the rest of the season is very unrealistic, but I just don't see it with that team. I don't think it's going to happen. And then, elsewhere around the league, like I said, it's Kuminga, that story, and Giannis. Like, what's going to happen with both? I don't think I really care about Kuminga. I think smarter NBA people don't really care about what happens at Kuminga because he hasn't proven that he could contribute to winning anywhere. But Giannis obviously is the big domino. Apparently, a lot of teams are waiting to see what happens with him. They don't want to make smaller trades before kind of addressing whether or not he's available to them, or just, who's, what the landscape looks like after a Giannis trade. So let's see what happens with Giannis, and we'll get back to the trade, stuff just over the next couple of weeks. And we'll end up doing a trade deadline special as well. I'll hopefully have JVT and Kelly on with me once it's time to talk about the trade deadline as it gets a little bit closer. But I hope that you win your plays tonight. We had a bad night last night again. Hopefully we get hot here again soon. But those 5 plays from before, I'm feeling really good about them, especially the 2 that I played to win 1.5 units. Those were high confidence picks for me. But hopefully we end up getting back in the win column. We get back in the green. And then we'll see you back here on Monday for another episode of Hardwood Handicappers. And over the weekend, all of my stuff will be available at vsin.com.